My nephew worked for me. I paid for his college, gave him everything. Then I found 18 videos of him with my wife in my house. I didn't confront them. I invited the family to a barbecue and played the footage. Her dad spoke first, then my sister. What came next tore everything apart. My name is Evan Carmichael. I'm 44 years old, and up until 3 weeks ago, I thought I had it all figured out. I run an import-export business that I built from scratch 20 years ago. We handle electronics, specialty goods, connections across 3 continents. It's not Fortune 500 territory, but it pays well enough for the house in suburban Phoenix, the lake cabin, 2 nice cars. My wife Margot is 42, works as a marketing director at a tech firm downtown. Our son Blake just started his 2nd year at Arizona State, studying mechanical engineering. Smart kid, good head on his shoulders. My nephew Jay is 26. He's my sister Rachel's boy. Rachel raised him alone after her husband walked out when Jay was 12. I stepped in where I could, helped with school expenses, gave him his first real job at my company 3 years ago. He works as my purchasing manager now. Good with suppliers, sharp negotiator. Or at least I thought he was sharp. Turns out he was negotiating more than wholesale prices. The discovery happened on a Tuesday. I was in my home office, cleaning out old files before the quarterly audit. We used to have a nanny cam system back when Blake was little. 5 years ago, maybe 6. Margot insisted we keep the footage archived. Said it was cute memories of Blake learning to walk, that kind of thing. I'd moved the drives to a box in my closet and forgotten about them. I was clearing space on my computer when I found a backup drive labeled Home Security 2019 to 2020. I almost tossed it. Almost. But something made me plug it in. Maybe curiosity. Maybe instinct. The drive took forever to load. When the file list finally appeared, most clips were what I expected. Blake's 3rd birthday party. Margot gardening. Me grilling burgers. Then I saw a thumbnail dated August 2020. The preview frame showed our living room. The leather couch Margot picked out. Our wine rack. And 2 people who shouldn't have been alone together in my house on a Wednesday afternoon. I clicked play. Margot walked in a frame first, laughing at something off camera. She wore the blue sundress I bought her for our anniversary. Then Jay appeared behind her, holding a bottle of wine from our collection. A bottle I'd been saving for a special occasion. He opened it like he owned the place. Like it was his house, his wine, his right to be there. They sat close. Too close. Her hand touched his arm, then his knee, then his face. I didn't move. Didn't breathe. Just watched as my wife leaned into my nephew the way she used to lean into me. The timestamp in the corner glowed steady. Wednesday, August 12th, 2020, 2:47 p.m. I would have been at the port of Long Beach that day, meeting with suppliers. 3 hours away. Margot told me she was working from home. Jay said he had vendor meetings across town. The footage lasted 11 minutes. I watched all of it. Then I watched it again. My hand stayed steady on the mouse. No shaking. No tears. Just a cold, expanding emptiness in my chest. When I finally closed the file, the sun had set outside my office window. I could hear Margot downstairs in the kitchen, humming while she made dinner. The same tune she always hummed. The same woman who kissed me goodbye that morning. Who asked me to pick up milk on the way home. Who had no idea I'd just seen her betray me with my own nephew in crystal clear high definition. I didn't confront her that night. Didn't say a word. I went downstairs, ate the pasta she made, complimented the sauce. She smiled at me across the table, asked about my day. I told her it was fine, productive, nothing unusual, but everything had changed, and she had no idea the clock had started ticking. The next morning, I woke up at 5. Margot was still asleep, her breathing steady and peaceful. I looked at her lying there, hair spread across the pillow, and felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, just calculation. I went to my office and started digging. The backup drive held more than that one video. Much more. I found 18 separate files spread across 4 months in 2020. Different days, different times. Always when I was traveling or stuck at the warehouse. Always Wednesday or Thursday afternoons. Always my house, my couch, my wine. I copied everything to 3 different drives. One went in my safe deposit box at the bank. One stayed locked in my office desk. One I uploaded to a secure cloud account I created under a new email address. Then I started looking at our finances. I'd always let Margot handle our personal accounts. She was better with budgets, liked keeping track of expenses. I focused on the business. It worked for 20 years. Or I thought it did. Now, I pulled up our joint checking account. The statements went back 3 years online. I started scanning line by line, looking for anything unusual. For the first hour, Everything looked normal. Groceries, utilities, gas, the usual household expenses. Then I found it. A transfer to an external account. $5,000, dated March 2021. The memo line said, loan to Rachel. My sister. I remembered that. Rachel needed help with her car payment. Margot offered to transfer the money, said we could afford it. I agreed. Except the account number wasn't Rachel's. I checked the next month. Another transfer. $3,000. Memo. Rachel car repair. Then May. $4,000. June. $5,000. The pattern continued through summer and fall of 2021. By December, Margot had transferred $32,000 to that same account. I called the bank. The representative told me I needed to come in person for account details. I was there when they opened. The account belonged to Jay Sinclair, my nephew. $32,000. My money. Transferred by my wife. To my nephew. The same nephew who was sleeping with her in my house while I worked to pay for everything. I sat in my car in the bank parking lot for 20 minutes, staring at the statement printouts. The numbers didn't lie. The dates aligned with the videos. This wasn't just an affair. This was systematic. Planned. They'd been using my money to fund whatever this was. I drove to the office. Jay was already there, sitting at his desk in the purchasing department, typing on his computer. He looked up when I walked in, gave me that easy smile he always had. Morning, Uncle Evan, Jay said. Early start today. Supplier issues. I replied, keeping my voice level. Needed to check some invoices. Let me know if you need help. He offered. I nodded and walked to my office. Closed the door. Sat at my desk and pulled up our corporate credit card statements. Jay had a company card. I'd given it to him 2 years ago for business expenses, vendor meals, travel, that sort of thing. I trusted him. Another mistake. I scrolled through the charges. Most were legitimate. Restaurants where we met with suppliers. Hotels during trade shows. But then I saw others. Jewelry stores. Florists. A women's boutique. Charges that had nothing to do with business. I pulled up the dates and cross-referenced them with the videos. The jewelry purchase happened 2 days before one of the videos. The florist charge was the same week as another. My nephew was buying gifts for my wife. With my credit card. And I've been approving the expenses every month without questioning them. I printed everything. Every bank statement. Every credit card charge. Every suspicious transaction. The stack of papers grew thick on my desk. Evidence. Proof. Ammunition. Jay knocked on my door around 10. Hey, I'm heading out to meet that supplier from Taiwan. Should be back around 2. No problem, I said, not looking up from my computer. Take your time. He left. I watched through the window as he got into his car. The car I'd helped to buy last year. Given him a bonus specifically for the down payment. That afternoon, I had my first appointment. A lawyer. She listened to everything without interrupting. Made notes in a leather portfolio. Keep gathering evidence, she said finally. Document everything. And don't tell anyone. Not your wife. Not your sister. Nobody. The element of surprise is your biggest advantage. I nodded. I understood perfectly. The clock was ticking, but only I could hear it. The attorney's office was downtown, 20th floor with a view of the valley. Her name was Catherine Rhodes. Mid-50s, steel gray hair, eyes that didn't miss anything. Show me what you have, she said. I laid out the printouts. Bank statements, credit card charges, video timestamps. She studied each page in silence, making notes on a yellow pad. This is systematic, Catherine said finally. The transfers align with the videos. The credit card purchases match up. They weren't hiding it well because they didn't think you'd look. I wasn't supposed to find that backup drive, I said. It was luck. Their bad luck. She leaned back in her chair. Here's what we do. Keep everything quiet. Continue acting normal. Gather more evidence if you can. Don't confront either of them yet. I won't. Good. Because the moment you tip your hand, they'll start covering tracks. Deleting messages, moving money, creating stories. Right now, they think they're safe. That's your advantage. I left her office with a clear plan. Keep working. Keep smiling. Keep pretending. That evening, I remembered something. A year ago, maybe longer, we'd had a family picnic at the lake. 4th of July weekend. The whole family came. Rachel, Jay, Margot's parents, some cousins. Blake was home from his first year of college. I'd taken photos that day. Hundreds of them. Stored on my phone, backed up to the cloud. I pulled them up now, scrolling through images of grilled burgers and sparklers and sunset over the water. Then I found it. One photo, taken as the sun was setting. I've been trying to capture the orange light, on the water. But in the foreground, slightly out of focus, stood Margot and Jay. They were by the coolers, presumably getting drinks. But Jay's hand was on Margot's lower back, and she was leaning into him, laughing at something he'd said. At the time, I deleted the photo. Thought it was a bad shot, too blurry. But my phone kept deleted photos for 30 days in a separate folder, and some cloud backup had preserved it. I zoomed in on their faces, the way she looked at him, the casual intimacy of his touch. This was July 2023, more than a year ago. The videos were from 2020, which meant this thing between them had been going on for at least 3 years. Probably longer. I'd suspected something back then, hadn't I? Some instinct had made me notice that moment enough to photograph it. But I'd pushed the thought away. Told myself I was being paranoid. Jay was family. Margot loved me. I'd been a fool. The next morning, I got to the office early. Pulled Jay's employment file. I'd hired him in January 2021, right after he finished his associate degree. The degree I paid for. $8,000 in tuition over 2 years. I'd written the checks myself, proud to help my nephew get an education. He started as a warehouse assistant. Within 6 months, I promoted him to purchasing coordinator. A year later, purchasing manager. I'd justified every promotion. He was smart, dedicated, good with suppliers. Never mind that he was sleeping with my wife. Never mind that he was stealing from me. The bonuses added up too. I gave him $5,000 last Christmas, $3,000 the year before. Performance bonuses, I'd called them. Investment in a valued employee. The total came to $76,000. Tuition, bonuses, the car down payment, a loan I'd forgiven when he said he was struggling. $76,000 I'd given to the man who was destroying my marriage. I sat at my desk, adding up numbers. The money Margot transferred, $32,000. The credit card charges, another $12,000. My direct help to Jay, $76,000. $120,000. That's what this betrayal had cost me so far, not counting what I'd lose in the divorce. My phone buzzed. Text from Margot. Don't forget Blake's coming home this weekend. Maybe we could do dinner Saturday. I texted back. Sounds good. Looking forward to it. She sent back a heart emoji. I stared at that little red heart on my screen. Wondered how she did it. How she sent me hearts and kissed me goodnight and let me make love to her while she was carrying on with Jay. How she looked me in the eye every single day and lied. Jay walked past my office window, carrying coffee from the break room. He waved. I waved back. We were all pretending. But I was the only one who knew the truth. Blake came home Friday afternoon, driving the used Honda I bought him for college. He looked good. Taller somehow, though that was impossible. He'd filled out from working out at the campus gym. My son was becoming a man. Hey, Dad, Blake said, dropping his duffel bag in the hallway. He hugged me, strong and solid. Good to have you home, I told him, and meant it. In all this ugliness, Blake was the one pure thing. Innocent, untouched. Margot came downstairs, all smiles. There's my boy. She hugged Blake, fussed over him, asked about classes and friends, and whether he was eating enough. We had dinner that night, the three of us. Margot made Blake's favorite, pot roast with potatoes. We talked about his engineering projects, his roommate's terrible cooking, the football games he'd been to. Normal family conversation, like nothing was wrong. But I watched Blake closely, noticed how he barely looked at his mother, how he pushed food around his plate more than he ate it, how his smile didn't quite reach his eyes. After dinner, Blake and I sat on the back patio. Margot was inside, cleaning up. I handed Blake a beer. He took it without comment. How are you really doing? I asked. Blake stared at his beer bottle. Fine. School's good. Busy. You seem tired. Yeah, well, lots of studying. He took a long drink. Dad, can I ask you something? Anything. He hesitated, looked toward the house, making sure Margot couldn't hear. Are you and Mom okay? My heart stopped. What makes you ask that? I don't know. Just a feeling. Blake shrugged, but his shoulders stayed tense. She seems different lately. Distracted. And you seem, I don't know, distant. I chose my words carefully. Marriage has ups and downs. We're fine. Blake nodded, but he didn't look convinced. And Jay? How's he doing at work? Jay's fine. What? No reason. Just wondering. Blake finished his beer. He used to text me all the time. We'd play video games online, talk about sports. But the last few months, he's been, I don't know, off. Off how? Like he's avoiding me or something. I'll message him, and he won't respond for days. Then he makes some excuse about being busy. Blake crushed the empty bottle in his hand. We were tight, you know. He was like the cool older brother I never had. Now it's like he's ghosting me. I felt something cold settle in my stomach. Blake and Jay had been close. I'd encouraged it, happy my son had a good male role model besides me. Now I understood why Jay was pulling away. Guilt, shame, or maybe just fear of getting caught. People get busy, I said. I'm sure it's nothing personal. Yeah, maybe. Blake stood up. I'm gonna head to bed. Long drive. Blake. He turned back. You know I love you, right? No matter what happens. He looked confused. I know, Dad. Love you too. I watched him go inside. Wondered how much he guessed. Wondered how I'd explain it all when the time came. Saturday morning, I was in my office when my phone rang. Unknown number. Mr. Carmichael? Female voice, young. This is Melissa Merritt. I'm Jay's girlfriend. I sat up straight. Yes. Hello, Melissa. I need to talk to you. In person. It's important. She sounded stressed. Scared even. Okay. When? Today? I know it's short notice, but I really need to talk to someone, and I can't talk to Rachel about this. We met at a coffee shop across town. Melissa was 29, petite, with dark hair and worried eyes. She sat across from me, hands wrapped around a cup of tea she wasn't drinking. I don't know how to say this, she began. Just say it. I think Jay's cheating on me. She looked up, eyes shining with unshed tears. I've thought it for months, but I kept telling myself I was paranoid. But lately, it's worse. He's gone all the time. Says he's working, but when I call the office, you guys say he left hours ago. He comes home smelling like perfume. Expensive perfume, not mine. My jaw tightened. Go on. And he's been weird about his phone. Won't let me see it. Changes the subject when I ask about his day. Last week, I found a receipt in his jacket. For jewelry. A necklace. Really expensive. He never gave me any necklace. She pulled out her phone, showed me a photo of the receipt. Same jewelry store from the credit card statements. Same date. Melissa, why are you telling me this? Because you're his boss. You're his uncle. You know him better than anyone except Rachel. She wiped her eyes. And because there's something else. What? I'm pregnant. Her voice broke. 10 weeks. I found out last month. I was going to tell him, but then all this started, and now I don't know what to do. I sat back, processing. Melissa was pregnant with Jay's child, while Jay was sleeping with my wife, using my money to buy her gifts. I'm sorry, I said quietly. I'm very sorry. Do you think he's cheating? I looked at this young woman, carrying my nephew's baby, asking me to confirm what she already knew. I thought about lying, protecting her, but she deserved the truth. Part of it, anyway. Yes, I said. I think he is. She nodded slowly, like she'd expected that answer. What should I do? What do you want to do? I don't know. She touched her stomach. I wanted to announce the pregnancy at the family barbecue next week. Rachel's organizing it. Said the whole family should get together. I thought it would be special, you know. Tell everyone at once. But now, Melissa, listen to me carefully. Come to the barbecue. Bring the pregnancy test if you want. But don't tell Jay beforehand. She looked confused. What? Just trust me. Come to the barbecue. Everything will be clear then. We talked for another hour. I didn't tell her about Margot. Didn't tell her about the videos or the money. But I gave her what I could. Validation, support, and a promise that the truth would come out soon. When I got home, Margot was in the garden, pruning roses. She looked up and smiled. Where'd you go? Hardware store. I lied smoothly. Needed some things for the office. Blake wants to know if Jay's coming to dinner tonight. I'll ask him. Jay did come to dinner. Sat at my table, ate my food, made Blake laugh with stories about their last fishing trip. Margot laughed too, touching Jay's arm when he told a joke. Right in front of me. Right in front of our son. I watched them. Cataloged every glance, every smile, every casual touch. Evidence. Ammunition. Blake didn't see it. Or maybe he did and didn't want to believe it. After Jay left, I went back to my office. Added Melissa's information to my files. The jewelry receipt. The perfume. The pregnancy. The barbecue was in 8 days. I had 8 days to prepare. 8 days to make sure everything was perfect. 8 days until I burned their world down. The week before the barbecue moved in slow motion. Every day felt like an eternity. Every conversation with Margot or Jay felt like walking through a minefield, carefully placing each word, each expression, making sure nothing slipped. Monday morning, I met with Catherine again. She brought a forensic accountant named David Chun. No, wait, David Harrison. He spread the bank statements across the conference table, making notes with mechanical precision. The pattern is clear, David said. Transfers every month. Always round numbers. 3,000, 5,000, 6,000. This isn't random. This is systematic fraud. Can we use this in court? I asked. Absolutely. Combined with the video evidence, you have an airtight case. He looked up at me. Your wife won't fight this. She can't. Catherine nodded. We'll file immediately after your event. Have the papers ready. She'll be served Monday morning. What about criminal charges? She stole from our joint account. That's trickier, Catherine said. Joint account means joint access. But we can argue fraud, especially given the false pretenses. The transfers were supposedly for your sister, but went to the nephew instead. I thought about Rachel. My sister had no idea her name had been used to cover an affair. That would hurt her almost as much as the betrayal itself. Tuesday, I installed new security cameras at the house. Told Margot they were upgrades, better resolution. She didn't question it. Why would she? I never questioned anything she did. The cameras went in the living room, the kitchen, the garage, all linked to my phone. I could watch from anywhere now, see if Jay came over while I was at work. But he didn't. They'd gotten careful. Or maybe they just moved their meetings elsewhere. Wednesday, I withdrew $50,000 from our savings. Put it in a separate account under my name only. Catherine had advised me to secure assets before filing. Margot had access to all our accounts. The moment she knew I was onto her, she drained everything she could. Thursday, Jay asked for Friday off. Said he had some personal business to handle. I approved it without hesitation. Checked the tracking app on his company phone afterward. He drove to a jewelry store in Scottsdale. Spent 90 minutes there. Came out empty-handed, which meant he'd ordered something custom. My credit card statement would show that purchase in a few days. Another gift from my wife, bought with my money. Friday evening, Blake came home again. He looked even more tired than last week. We sat on the patio after dinner. Same spot, same beers. Dad, I need to tell you something, Blake said quietly. My heart stopped. What? I've been thinking about taking a semester off. Maybe 2. It would meet my eyes. School's not going well. I'm failing 2 classes. Can't focus. Can't sleep. Blake, what's going on? I don't know. Everything just feels wrong lately. Like something's coming. Something bad. And I can't stop it. He finally looked at me. Am I crazy? I want to tell him everything. Wanted to prepare him for what was coming Sunday. But I couldn't. Not yet. You're not crazy, I said. Sometimes we sense things before we understand them. Trust your instincts. Should I not come to the barbecue Sunday? No. I need you there. We all do. Blake nodded slowly. Okay. I'll be there. Saturday, I did a final check of everything. The video files, backed up in 4 locations. The financial records, printed and organized. The timeline, documented and verified. Every piece of evidence labeled, indexed, ready. I set up the TV in Rachel's backyard where the barbecue would be. Told her I wanted to show some old family videos. Get everyone laughing. She loved the idea. Had no clue what was really coming. That night, Margot curled up next to me in bed. Put her head on my chest like she'd done for 20 years. I love you, she whispered. I stared at the ceiling. I love you too. The lies came easy now. Maybe they always had. Sunday morning arrived clear and hot. Perfect Arizona, weather for a barbecue. I woke up at dawn, couldn't sleep anymore. Margot was still asleep beside me, peaceful and beautiful, and completely unaware that this was her last morning as my wife. I showered, dressed in jeans and a polo shirt. Nothing special, just another family gathering. I loaded the car with the things I'd need. A laptop, a small projector, extension cords, the USB drive with the videos, tucked in my pocket. Margot came downstairs around 8, already dressed in a yellow sundress, the same color she'd worn in one of the videos. You're up early, she said, kissing my cheek. Couldn't sleep. Excited to see everyone. Me too. It's been too long since we had the whole family together. She poured coffee. Jay's bringing Melissa. Have you met her? Once or twice. She's sweet. A little young for him, but sweet. The irony wasn't lost on me. Melissa was 29. Margot was 42. Jay was 26. But somehow Melissa was too young, while Margot was just right. Blake came down at 9, looking like he'd barely slept. I caught his eye, gave him a slight nod. He nodded back. Whatever happened today, we'd get through it together. We drove to Rachel's house, separately. Margot went early to help set up. Blake and I came later, carrying the equipment I'd need. Rachel's backyard was already full of people when we arrived. My sister had outdone herself. Tables covered with food, a grill smoking in the corner, coolers full of drinks. Margot's parents were there, Douglas and Patricia, some cousins, a few family friends, and Jay, standing by the grill with a beer, laughing at something Rachel said. Melissa stood beside him, hand resting protectively on her still flat stomach. She saw me and gave a small, knowing nod. I set up the projector and screen near the patio, told everyone I had some old family videos to share after lunch. Everyone seemed excited, Rachel especially. "Oh, this will be fun," my sister said. "Remember when you and I went through all those old tapes last year? So many memories." "So many," I agreed. Margot came over, handed me a plate of food. "You okay? You seem tense." "Just hot. I'll be fine." We ate. We talked. We laughed. Jay told stories about work, careful not to mention the credit card charges or the jewelry or the afternoons at my house. Margot talked about her job, her latest marketing campaign, her plans for remodeling the kitchen. Blake sat quietly, eating mechanically, watching everything with worried eyes. Around 2 o'clock, I stood up, tapped my beer bottle with a fork to get everyone's attention. "Hey, everyone. I wanted to share something special today. Some old videos I found recently. Memories I think we should all see." People gathered around, pulled chairs closer. Margot sat in the front row, smiling. Jay stood behind her, casual and comfortable. I turned on the projector. The screen glowed white. "This might be uncomfortable," I said quietly, "but it's necessary." Then I pressed play. The screen flickered to life. For a moment, just the timestamp. August 12th, 2020, 2:47 p.m. Then the image resolved. Our living room, the leather couch, the wine rack, and Margot, walking in a frame, laughing. The backyard went silent. Jay appeared next, holding a wine bottle. My wine. He popped the cork, poured 2 glasses. They sat close. Too close. Her hand on his arm, his hand on her knee. I watched the faces around me instead of the screen. Watched Margot's smile freeze, then shatter. Watched Jay's face drain of color. Watched Blake's expression crumble as understanding hit him. Douglas, Margot's father, stood up slowly. His chair scraped against concrete, loud in the absolute silence. He stared at the screen, jaw working, but no words came. His face had gone gray. On screen, Margot leaned in, kissed Jay, long and deep and undeniable. Patricia, Margot's mother, made a small sound. Not quite a gasp, not quite a sob. The video played for 2 more minutes. I'd edited it down to the most damning parts. Nothing explicit, but intimate enough. Proof enough. The timestamp stayed visible the entire time. When it ended, I let the silence hold for a moment, then switched to the next file. Different date. September 3rd, 2020. Same couch. Same 2 people. "Turn it off," Margot whispered. Her voice broke. "Please." I didn't respond. Let the second clip play. Rachel moved first. My sister walked slowly toward Jay, her face a mask I'd never seen before. Not angry. Worse. Disappointed. Devastated. "Mom," Jay started. His voice came out hoarse. "Mom, I can explain." "Don't." Rachel's voice was steel. "Don't say another word." I paused the video. Turned to face everyone. "I found these 3 weeks ago. 18 videos total, spanning 4 months in 2020. I had them verified by a forensic expert. They're real. Unedited. Time-stamped." Douglas finally found his voice. It came out as a roar. "In his house." He pointed at Jay. "You did this in his house. Under his roof." Margot tried to stand. "Dad, please let me." "Sit down." Douglas's command stopped her cold. He turned to me. "Did you know about this?" "Not until 3 weeks ago." "And you waited? You planned this?" Patricia looked between me and the frozen screen. "You brought us all here for this. Would you have preferred I handle it privately?" I asked calmly. Let them continue lying to everyone. Let Jay keep working for me while sleeping with my wife. Let Margot keep pretending she loved me. Melissa stood up. Her face was pale but composed. She walked over to Jay, looked him in the eye. "The perfume I smelled on you," Melissa said quietly. "The jewelry receipt I found. The nights you said you were working." She touched her stomach. "I'm 12 weeks pregnant, Jay. I was going to tell everyone today." Surprise announcement. Jay's mouth opened. Closed. No words came. "But I talked to Evan last week," Melissa continued. "He told me to come today. To see the truth." She looked at the screen, at Margot's frozen image. "Now I understand. The woman you were cheating with is your aunt. Your uncle's wife." The words hung in the air like poison. Rachel's hand came up fast. The slap echoed across the backyard. Jay's head snapped to the side. You have 24 hours to get out of my house, Rachel said, her voice shaking now. I don't have a son who would do this. Not to family. Not to anyone. Jay touched his reddening cheek. Mom, please. 24 hours. Then I'm changing the locks. Margot finally stood, tears streaming down her face. She turned to me. You couldn't just talk to me? You had to humiliate me in front of everyone. I met her eyes, kept my voice level. You humiliated yourself. I just showed everyone what you've been hiding. You violated my privacy. You spied on me. I found security footage from our own home. Footage you knew existed. I pulled out my phone, pressed play on audio file. And before you claim he seduced you, or you were confused, or any other excuse, listen to this. Jay's voice came through the speaker. Tomorrow at 2? He'll be in Long Beach until 6. Then Margot's voice. Perfect. Bring that wine he's been saving. He'll never know. Both of them laughing. I stopped the recording. You planned it. Both of you. Used my travel schedule. Drank my wine. Laughed about it. Douglas turned away, hand over his mouth. Patricia was crying now, quiet sobs. Blake stood up, walked toward Jay. My son was taller, broader. Jay took a step back. You were my hero, Blake said. His voice shook with rage. I looked up to you. I wanted to be like you. He got close, right in Jay's face. And you were sleeping with my mother the whole time. Blake's fist moved before anyone could react. Connected with Jay's jaw. Jay went down hard, hit the grass. Blood trickled from his split lip. Blake, Margot screamed. I put a hand on my son's shoulder. That's enough. Blake was breathing hard, fist still clenched. But he stepped back. Jay stayed on the ground, hand to his bleeding mouth, looking up at the circle of family that had closed around him. No sympathy, no support, just disgust. I looked at Rachel. I'm sorry you had to see this, but you deserve the truth. My sister nodded slowly. Tears tracked down her face. Thank you for telling me, for showing me what he really is. Then Rachel turned to Melissa. I'm so sorry for what he did to you, for what you saw today. Melissa touched her stomach again. I know what I need to do now. She walked away, didn't look back at Jay, just left him there on the ground, bleeding and alone. The barbecue ended in silence. People left quickly, avoiding eye contact. Douglas and Patricia left without speaking to Margot. Just walked to their car, got in, drove away. Their daughter sat alone at a table, face buried in her hands. Rachel came to me as I packed up my equipment. You knew for 3 weeks. I did. You could have told me privately. Would you have believed me without proof? She thought about that. Probably not. I'd have defended him, made excuses. Rachel looked at Jay, still sitting on the ground where Blake had left him. He's my son. I loved him. But I love you more. You're my brother. And what he did. She couldn't finish. I know. He needs to leave my house. Today. He will. Blake helped me load the car. He was quiet, hands still shaking slightly from the adrenaline. When we were done, he turned to me. I want to kill him, Dad. When I realized what the video meant. What they've been doing. Blake's voice was rough. How long have you known? 3 weeks. And you didn't tell me? I couldn't. Not until everyone knew. I feel like an idiot. All those times he came over. All those dinners. He was sleeping with Mom, right in front of us. I put my hand on his shoulder. You're not an idiot. You trusted family. That's not weakness. That's what family is supposed to do. What happens now? I'm filing for divorce tomorrow. Papers are already drawn up. Good. Blake looked back at Margot, still sitting alone. I don't think I can talk to her right now. You don't have to. We drove home in silence. Margot took her own car, left an hour after we did. When she finally came home, I was in my office. She knocked on the door. Can we talk? Her eyes were red, face blotchy from crying. I don't think there's anything to say. Please, just let me explain. I leaned back in my chair. Fine. Explain. She sat across from me, hands twisting in her lap. It started by accident. Jay came over to drop off some papers you'd forgotten. I was working from home. We talked. He listened. You were traveling so much, and I was lonely. Don't. I cut her off. Don't blame this on me being busy. Don't blame it on being lonely. You made a choice. Multiple choices. For months. I know I did. Fresh tears fell. But showing that video today, in front of everyone, my parents, Blake, the whole family, did you have to humiliate me like that? You humiliated yourself when you brought my nephew into my bed. I just made sure everyone knew who you really are. I loved you. I still love you. No, you don't. People who love each other don't do what you did. Don't lie like you lied. She was quiet for a moment. Then her expression changed. Hardened. You spied on me. You violated my privacy. You recorded me without my knowledge. In our house. Using security cameras you knew existed. There's no legal expectation of privacy in your own living room. My lawyer already confirmed it. Your lawyer. She laughed bitterly. You already have a lawyer. You planned all this. Yes. I planned to protect myself from a cheating wife who stole from our accounts to give to her lover. Margot froze. What? I pulled out the bank statements. $32,000. Transferred to Jay over 14 months. You told me it was for Rachel. Emergency car repairs, medical bills. All lies. I was going to pay it back. With what? The salary from the job you're about to lose. Her face went white. What are you talking about? Your company will hear about this. Someone will tell them. And when they do, they'll see how their senior marketing director conducted herself. The affair with a younger man. A family member. The deception. They'll ask you to resign quietly, or they'll fire you publicly. Either way, you're done there. You can't do that. You can't ruin my career. I'm not ruining anything. You did that yourself. I stood up. I'm filing for divorce tomorrow. You'll be served by Tuesday. My lawyer says this will be quick. You can't contest it. The evidence is overwhelming. The house is mine. My name on the deed, my down payment. You'll get the condo downtown. The one you picked out 2 years ago. That's not enough to live on. You should have thought of that before you gave $32,000 to your boyfriend. Margot's face twisted. For a moment, I thought she might hit me. But she just stood there, shaking. I hate you. No. You hate that you got caught. She left the office. I heard her going upstairs, opening closet doors, throwing things around. Packing, probably. Blake appeared in my doorway. Is she leaving? I think so. Good. He came in, sat where Margot had been sitting. Dad, I need to tell you something. What? I'm taking the semester off. Maybe the whole year. Blake looked down at his hands. I can't focus. Can't sleep. Knowing what Mom did, what Jay did. I just need time. I'd been expecting this. Packing 22 in action. Okay. You're not mad. No. You need to heal. We both do. Take the time you need. What will you do? I thought about it. The business. The house. The life I'd built that now felt empty. I'm going to sell the company. Blake looked up, shocked. What? I can't work there anymore. Can't walk past Jay's empty desk every day. Can't look at the purchasing records without seeing how he stole from me. It's tainted now. But you built that company. It's your life's work. No. You're my life's work. And I choose you over a business. Blake's eyes filled with tears. I love you, Dad. I love you too, son. We're going to get through this. I promise. Upstairs, we heard Margot slamming drawers. Packing her things. Getting ready to leave the house, she turned into a lie. Tomorrow, I call my lawyer. File the papers. Start the legal process. But tonight, I sat with my son, and we began to heal. Monday morning, I walked into Catherine's office with Blake. The divorce papers were ready, signed by me, waiting only for the judge's stamp before Margot would be served. Everything's in order, Catherine said, reviewing the documents. Property division, asset protection, the evidence file. She won't contest this. She can't. Good. And the business sale. I have 3 interested buyers. One's offering $2.8 million. Should close in 60 days. Blake looked at me. That fast. When you're motivated, things move quickly. We left Catherine's office and drove to mine. Jay's desk was already empty. I'd had security pack his things Friday afternoon, left them in boxes by the loading dock. He'd come Saturday night to collect them. Didn't say a word to anyone. My operations manager, Tom, knocked on my door around 10. The staff knows something happened. Rumors are flying. Tell them Jay no longer works here. Personal reasons. That's all they need to know. And the company's sale. I'll make an announcement once it's finalized. Everyone will be taken care of. New owners keeping the staff. Tom nodded. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. Whatever happened, you didn't deserve it. Thanks. Tuesday afternoon, Margot was served at her office. She called me immediately, voice shaking with rage. You're really doing this? Yes. The house, the business, everything. You're taking it all. I'm keeping what's mine. You get the condo. That's fair. Fair. You humiliated me in front of my entire family. You humiliated yourself. I just made sure everyone saw the truth. I kept my voice calm. Sign the papers, Margot. Don't drag this out. You can't win. She hung up. Wednesday, I got a call from Rachel. Jay's living in some motel off the interstate. Jennifer won't talk to him. None of the family will. Good. He's asking about his job. Whether you'd consider. No. He's done. I'll give him a severance check, 1 month's pay. That's more than he deserves. I agree. Rachel sighed. I keep thinking about how I raised him. Where I went wrong. You didn't go wrong. He made his choices. Still feels like my failure. It's not. It's his. Thursday, I learned Margot's company had asked her to resign. Just as I predicted. Someone from the barbecue had connections there. Made a few calls. By Friday morning, it was all over their office. The affair with a much younger family member. The deception. The financial impropriety. They gave her 2 week severance and a non-disclosure agreement. She signed. Friday afternoon, Blake and I met with a real estate agent. Started looking at smaller places. Houses outside Phoenix. Maybe closer to the mountains. Fresh start. Fresh location. What about me? Blake asked as we toured a 3-bedroom ranch. Where do I fit in your plans? Wherever you want. You're my son. We're a team now. I like that. Saturday, I got an email from Melissa. Short and direct. Procedure scheduled for Tuesday. Thank you for showing me the truth. I'm moving back to Colorado to be near family. I hope you and Blake find peace. You deserve it. I showed the email to Blake. He read it silently, then nodded. She's right. We do deserve peace. Sunday, exactly 1 week after the barbecue, Margot signed the divorce papers. No contest. No fight. Just her signature on the line, acknowledging everything was over. Catherine called me that afternoon. It's done. Judge will finalize it in 30 days, but functionally, you're divorced. She agreed to everything. Thank you. What's next for you? Blake and I are taking a trip. Long one. Maybe a year. Where? Everywhere. Europe, Asia, South America. Wherever the road takes us. Sounds like exactly what you need. It did. 3 months later, Blake and I stood the Phoenix airport, boarding passes in hand. The house had sold. The business had closed. The divorce was final. Everything that tied me to the old life was gone. You ready for this? I asked Blake. More than ready. We planned a route together. London first, then Paris, Rome, Barcelona. After Europe, we'd head to Southeast Asia. Thailand, Vietnam, Japan. Then maybe Australia. Then South America. No schedule. No deadline. Just 2 men healing from betrayal. The first few weeks in London were strange. Walking through museums, sitting in pubs, exploring a city neither of us had seen before. Blake was quiet first, processing everything. I gave him space. In Paris, he started talking more. About college, about his plans, about the future. He decided to go back to school eventually, but not yet. Maybe in a year. Maybe 18 months. I want to figure out who I am without all that weight. Blake said one night over dinner near the Eiffel Tower. Without Mom's lies. Without Jay's betrayal. Just me. That's healthy. What about you? Who are you now? I thought about it. I'm someone who learned to trust his instincts. Someone who won't ignore red flags anymore. Someone who knows family isn't always blood. Deep. I'm working on it. In Rome, we ran into an American couple at the Colosseum. They were in their 50s, traveling for 2 years after early retirement. We shared a meal with them, exchanged stories. They'd been through their own struggles. Cancer, job loss, a son who'd cut them off. But we're still here, the wife said. Still together. Still fighting. That's all you can do, I said. In Barcelona, Blake met a girl, American exchange student, studying art history. They spent 3 days exploring Gaudí's architecture together. I gave him space, explored on my own. I gave her my number, Blake said when we met up. Told her maybe I'd visit Boston when we get back. That's good. You should live your life. So should you. By the time we reached Thailand, 3 months into the trip, something had shifted. The weight we'd both been carrying had started to lighten. We laughed more, slept better. The conversations flowed easier. One night in Bangkok, sitting by the river, Blake turned to me. Thank you for doing this. For taking me away. For choosing me over everything else. You're my son. There was no choice. Still, a lot of dads would have just thrown money at the problem. Sent me to therapy. Told me to deal with it. I'm not a lot of dads. No, you're not. We sat in comfortable silence, watching boats drift past on the Chao Phraya River. Do you ever think about her? Blake asked. About Mom. Sometimes. Mostly I think about the life I thought we had. The illusion. Do you miss it? No. I miss what I thought it was. But that was never real. What about Jay? I don't think about him at all. Blake nodded. Good. He doesn't deserve your energy. No, he doesn't. 9 months into our journey, somewhere in New Zealand, I got an email from Catherine. Margot had remarried. Some guy she'd met at a support group. Quick rebound, Probably wouldn't last. I deleted the email without showing Blake. It didn't matter anymore. A year after we left Phoenix, Blake and I sat on a beach in Chile, watching the sunset. We'd covered 23 countries, seen things neither of us had imagined, grown in ways we hadn't expected. I think I'm ready, Blake said. For what? To go back. To start school again. To live again. Are you sure? Yeah. I've spent a year healing. Now I want to start building. Then we'll go home. Where's